This time on Grenade Motorsports, we do the rear suspension on this Pilot House Dodge. We get the power steering connected, we get the new pulleys and belts, tune-up plugs, wires, getting it one step closer to firing it up. The dog check's in, and we take a little ride in the F100 that finally got finished. Let's go.
It's time to go. Looks a little bit different in here, but I am getting ready to spray this truck. I've got to do the back window and the other door, wrap the front, get the wheels up off the ground, wrap the wheels. And I think I should be able to put some ventilation in the window and spray it. I'm not going to have the camera in here during all of that, so check back in a few minutes and see where we're at. Everything's in disarray at the moment, but at least we got the truck painted. I got to put a lot of it together. It still needs to be wet, sanded, and polished out. I don't even know if I'm going to do that. The bodywork's not great. There's some runs in the clear. All of it's solvable, pretty easy, because the hard work is done. So it's never going to be straight and mint, but it looks good, and it's a driver, and it's going to be a fun truck. And let me put it together because I need this space back. All this space, that stuff goes over there. So let me get back to work. So these bumpers were totally smashed. The thing was like dented and beat down. I straightened it out best I could, and honestly, that ain't bad. I cleaned this up because I wanted you to be able to read the Parsons, Tennessee, or what's the other thing here? Goff and Walker Ford. Those are just cool because they tell the history of when this thing was sold originally. That was a dealer option, and back in the 80s, you used to see this all over the place. Arkansas, Texas, Missouri, all the dealers had it. It was an option. Most of them were silver, but I like this better because it's going to contrast with the truck. And I'm pretty close. I got the bed liner to do yet. That's on the way here. I've started the wiring. Well, I had the wiring started. Now comes the time when I need to really put the column and the dash together, which is the time-consuming part. I got another interior door panel from Northern Michigan, actually. That come out of Northern Michigan. My buddy got it for me because this one, obviously, that's not going to work. But yeah, enough talking. I gotta get stuff done, and the weather's warming up finally. And once that happens, there's going to be a lot of riding this year, so I gotta go. Got the bumpers on. That looks cool. I can't even pull it outside right now because it's raining and the driveway is mud. But that has come such a long way. Well, yesterday I got the tail lights, reverse lights, marker lights, all that working, and I buttoned up the interior. That's it. There's two wires down there, but that's going to be for the brake light switch. I just need to put that in. I didn't have it when I was finishing that up. I have it now, so I'll get to that. Love the way those old Ford doors shut. Over here we have horn, turn signals, headlights, and marker lights. These are the markers. This is the squishy bottle, I call it, where you push your windshield squirters. I still have to run the hose from there to there. But I mean, effectively, that's the truck. The bed liner stuff that we're gonna coat the floor and the sidewalls up to like here. That's due to be delivered today. So I can clean that out, brush paint that, it'll be great. And that's it. Turnkey, lights, everything works. I just gotta drive it, but it's freezing and raining and still winter here. So also, once I finish this up, the Dodge that's outside is coming right back in. That thing has a rear axle that needs going in. We'll get to that in a second. Man, we're finally starting to get some warm weather. I'm gonna get that truck out on the road. I've driven it, it's pretty good. This thing has a long way to go, but an interesting development. We were waiting on a good rear end. Ta-da, we have one. I'll tell you about that. Let me move everything around and I'll get right back to it. Hold on one second. I know we talked about doing some in-car in that vehicle and driving it around, and it's not going to work out because my GoPro, the little tiny square one that I had, all of a sudden just stopped working completely. And then I had another GoPro that wouldn't turn on, just nothing. So that's two GoPros in a row, and at $400 a pop, no more money to GoPro. That's it. There's a new camera called an Insta that I guess is good. It's small and it has a bunch of different mounts, so you kind of got to start over. I guess the Insta is the thing to have. There's another one, I think it's called an Insta 360, that does some spinny thing, which I watched a moto guy ride with it on, and it's unnerving. It's very difficult to watch. I don't think that's a good idea, but maybe in the future I'll try an Insta standard, just a regular one, and see. You know, I could also take the wife's iPhone and put it in a thing and drive and then transfer. I have a system and everything that I do fits within a certain parameter, and iTunes doesn't fit in my life. So yeah, I might maybe get a passenger and have someone hold the camera, because the camera that's recording now is like this big and it's not gonna work. But the truck's great, and I'm surprised that it came out that good. So I'm glad it's done. I'm not happy with the paint, but whatever. Paint's easy to fix now because you don't have to paint the whole truck. You can just fix spots. It should just run. Just turn the key, it should run. That's not bad, huh? Photographers refer to this time of day as the golden hour because you still have natural daylight, but you don't have any direct shadows, which is why I'm showing this to you now, because if you could see it in the daylight, you would probably complain at how terrible the paint job is. But this is about it for this truck. There's the bed. We finally got that cleaned and handled.
This axle is a Dana 35, and I got it off of a Jeep Wrangler with only 47,000 miles on it. So basically it's like brand new inside. The kicker is it has the same lug pattern as these wheels and as the front axle or front hubs we put on. But this took a long time. These don't come like this. I stripped this down and got it ready for spring perches, leaf spring perches, because it used to have these coil buckets and a 3-link that I took apart yesterday. I cut it off, cleaned it, and it's ready to go. I can weld on perches, and it still has the shock mounts, which I'm going to be able to locate in the truck, and a sway bar mount, which I'm going to be able to use. So it'll have a rear sway bar, which means it'll be pretty sporty. My next course of action is to get this rear axle all cut off and the frame suspended with nothing under it. I got a decent deal on the axle, and we threw it in the truck and I drove it home. I got it unloaded and I set it up on these stands, and I started looking at the easiest way to remove only the pieces that I didn't need. With a bit of Sawzall skill and grinder dedication, I was able to clean this thing up and get it ready for perch mounts, and I'm excited because it's in great shape. So I'm not going to make you watch me cut this entire thing to pieces, but I will pop the camera on and off during this. This is going to take all day. It just is. It's a super nice day. I'm so glad we got warm weather. Let me get right at it. Check in here in a second.
Step 1. Go back in the house, crack a beer. No, I'm kidding. I have a ton to do, and it's so nice today. I'm in such a good mood. I think the first thing I'm going to do is cut those shock bolts and let those hang. Then I'm going to cut these, which are interesting. If you've never seen anybody cut those, they're under a lot of screw pressure. So when you cut them, they pop, and it's a little frightening. You have to stay out of the way in case it pinches your grinding wheel, which is what I'm going to cut them with, because they're hardened. And that way I can get the axle down on the ground and drag it out of here. So let me get the required safety gear. Remember, safety third. In too good a condition, was it? That's the new rear axle. That's the old rear axle. There is a disc brake conversion kit for that. I don't know that we'll need it. Those brakes stop just fine. Plus with the new discs up front, it'll be just fine. As soon as these parts arrive, I'll be putting that axle underneath and then lining up the shock mounts and also figuring out the drive shaft. But I want all that hanging in place before I bother with any of that stuff. And the wiring harness should be here any day. Learning about this Dana 35 rear axle, I wondered what's the difference between a Dana 35 and say a Chrysler 8 1/4, 8 3/4. Really the only difference is the thickness of the tubing. The inside, they say, in the splines, everything is virtually the same. So, I mean, really, these are great axles. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just if you're in a four-wheel drive application where you're literally articulating the axle, the tubes are not as strong as some of the other rear ends. Well, this isn't ever going to do anything but go forward and backwards. Maybe a little slidey, spinny thing, but it's not ever going to be hardcore rock crawling.
So I'm totally cool with this axle. It's going to be great. As soon as the parts get here, I'm getting it underneath, make this roll, and pretty soon we're going to make it start because it's already got steering. It does need brake lines. I could probably get to doing that soon. Yeah, let me get this first. These are the anti-wrap type, which just means they're really, really long, and when you bolt them, I'm gonna weld them obviously, but when you bolt them down, the springs don't have a tendency to fold. So if you are aggressive with your throttle pedal, as you should be, you don't have to worry about spring wrap up, where your springs are like trying to, you know, coil themselves up from torque. But yeah, this would be cool. Basically like that. Put the spring on there, put this in like that, and that holds it all together. But I gotta get that unbanded, it's banded together. I'll tell you one thing about not being on real TV is that you don't have to worry if there's dogs barking or traffic, because no one cares. We all live in a world that things occur, so there you go. But these are the front spring hangers that go on the frame like so. And what I did was I measured from here to here the offset, which they will both be on the frame. And then I basically took that rough measurement within a 1/4 inch or so, which is I think 46.5. That'll basically, so this will mount to the frame over there like this, but just for illustration purposes, showing you like that. So 3.5 from the outside edge to center on both sides, 46.5, which is how I have those set up right now. So with them at 46.5, there's room to get to the brake lines and the bleeder. I'm really, really happy that this is working out as good as it is. You might have think I'd have done this before, which you know I did. I think I did my first rear axle in the gravel in the early 90s. Yeah, because I was sitting in a light in a Bronco, a 351 M engine, and I was in neutral and I'm revving it, and the light changed and I was like, oh, bang! When I did, the whole entire axle broke off the spring perches and tore the drive shaft out of the transmission, and just the whole thing went to spinning, but the truck didn't go nowhere. I had to get out, lock the hubs, and put it in 4-wheel drive just to bang the thing off the road, and I learned a lesson. Number one, whenever you're doing spring perches, get the real long ones. But anyway, that's so long ago. This is great. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to paint everything black, obviously, but not the hardware. So when you look under there, it stands out. I still have to work out the shocks. Right now, this shock is going to come. I'm not sure how the sway bar is going to go. It might end up being like that. It might be like that. Well, I'm not sure yet. But I want to maybe take the shock and go this way with it. So I won't be able to measure those until this is in and hanging. But the next part, and I'm going to do this tomorrow, well for you in a few seconds, I'm going to grind all of these off and get my frame prepped. Get everything in, measured, double check my wheel opening on the bed, because I'm a stickler for having the wheel in the center of the wheel arch. I can't stand people that do chassis swaps and the wheel is like this or like this in the wheel well. It should be right there and move like, that's how it should be. I mean, within, 3/4 of an inch I'm okay with, but to the eye you start to notice it when it's 2 inches. And a lot of them from the factory didn't come in the dead center of the wheel arch. But to me, I want them there. So that's it. That was a fun little session. I'll be right back. Whatever, it's cold, the heat's back on. This needs to go under that frame, and I need to put this outside. It's pretty cool, like you should just tap the throttle and it sets the choke, and then you turn the key. No depress of the accelerator or nothing. You don't do no pumping. It should just work. You gotta love a new carburetor. So a little tap that sets the choke, you'll hear a click. I heard it. Can't open the door all the way. Yeah, the paint on it is not great, and the body work is, average to substandard. But mechanically, it's right as rain, and
lovely hillbillies across the street.
little air noise. A bit of air noise. There's a way to fix that. I can put a coin in there.
Yeah, they used to in the olden days.
Yeah. I promised a little in-car. I didn't know it was going to be this close, but I talked her into coming with me so we could at least drive it. But that's about all you're going to get without GoPros all over everything. Let's spin it around and head it back because it ain't good on gas. Hell yeah, it's working too. There we go. It's back from one of many test drives. I just put new front brake pads on it because it didn't have new front brake pads and rotors. They were whatever was on the Crown Vic front end, and they were actually junk. But now that I've driven it with pads and it's shifting up and down, and honestly, it's not slow. I wouldn't call it modern fast, but it's fun. It's just a great truck. So I got to get back in there and work on the Dodge. I got it a little dirty from driving it around, but I'm really happy with it. But wait, there's more. Actually, but first, I need to do this. This truck has a few items that have needed doing for quite some time. And there's not a lot of miles on this truck, 87,000, I think. Which is not much. I don't even call them broke in until they hit 250,000. So this has a trans mount that the rubber has gone weak. So you can feel it, and I feel it, and I don't like it. So I got this, I'm gonna change it. It's kind of a drag because not only is it bolted in several places, the exhaust hangs off of it, which makes it really tough. Tougher than it needs to be, but it's fine. I'm gonna do it. I've been putting it off. Also, I don't know if you remember this truck, brakes. I had brakes, I put new brake pads on it. And the rotors were pretty crappy. They were pretty, you know, rusted and not looking great. So I finally ordered new brakes. When they come, I'll put the brakes on. I was gonna do it all at once, but I feel like I need to get at least one thing done on my own vehicle. So let me get this and I'll be right back. Three hours. Got to take the drive shaft off. Oh, heat shields, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. This is why I don't like vehicle maintenance. I like building things that are out in the open, burying them. This was put together on an assembly line in an order, and it's difficult. And this is where I complain. Almost 4 hours to get it off, and about 35 minutes to put it on. Because of rust and because of figuring out which tools you need and all of these things. You probably can't even see where it is from this angle, but let me. So it's in there. So let me turn around so you can see it better. There it is. See how it holds the exhaust? Yeah. It holds the exhaust and bolts up to it and sits on that cross member. But now it's in there. So anyway, let me get all this mess cleaned up. The term is disheveled. I feel disheveled. That took a lot. That was tough. I tell you, it reminds me of way back in, like, I don't know, junior high. I made this teacher mad, and I didn't know that he used to be a boxer. It was just a little guy, you know, and I was like a punk kid, and I forget what I said to him, but it made him mad, and he really quick slapped me in the face about 25 times and didn't really hurt me. He just was like, and I was like, holy shit. That's how this made me feel. I got out from under it. I'm like, geez, Mr. Bradley again. This thing kicked my ass. Whatever, back to work. Come on. I test drove it and seems fine. Doesn't seem like it's bouncing the way that I felt before. I need to spend, you know, some miles on it and make sure, but at least now when I do the brakes, I don't have to mess with that, because that has been in the back of my mind for like since I got it. I'm like, I bet you I know what that is. I feel like I got it, but you won't know until I live with it a little while, drive it some more. Back to the Dodge. While you were skipping commercials, I got the power steering rack connected. I got the lines made, adapted to the original Chrysler power steering pump. I even retained the power steering cooler, which is super good. I got the pulleys, new idlers and all that. That's all put on. And right now I'm doing the spark plugs, all 16 of them. The exhaust manifolds on this vehicle are great, so I don't have to do that, thankfully. But yeah, the plugs, they all look good except for like one of them, which I think was loose and had a little bit of water in it. But the truck ran perfect, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. And then we just gotta open all these and put never sees on them, and then put them in, torque them down. So that's all basic. You don't need to watch that. In the blink of an eye, I'll be on to something else.
about 10 o'clock on a Sunday spring morning, and it's finally warmed up, but also the good news is I have a space. Look at this. Now, everything has this interesting green coating over it because I sprayed that truck in here. Speaking of that truck, it's very cool. We did drive it, spent a considerable amount of time driving it, and the gauges work, everything works like it's supposed to, and it was fast-ish. But it was a peppy, cool old cruiser, you know, with modernized everything. You saw it. It's just a really cool truck. That thing's going to be great for someone somewhere down the line. I'm not keeping it. I don't keep anything. My buddy was like, dude, why don't you just build one for yourself? I'm like, what am I going to do with it? Drive it? Let me tell you a little quick story. So back 15 years ago or so, I wanted a Fox body Mustang. I wanted one so bad because when I was in high school, I couldn't afford that. Hell, I could barely afford new tennis shoes. So when I finally got the opportunity to get a Fox body Mustang, I got it cheap, but it had already been painted. It was kind of not a great paint job, but it was fresh, and it had wheels on it, but the front suspension, it had hit a curb, and the whole thing was like tweaked underneath. So I brought it home, tore it all apart, put a new cross member in it, put the motor back in it, all new suspension bushings. I rebuilt the manual transmission myself with a CD that I ordered online, and I did it with a laptop open on the garage, and my first experience with a dial indicator to get the end play on all of the gears and the shafts, and it was really cool, and I did it. I was so happy when I put it together, and I took off down the road, I pushed in the clutch, it worked, I was happy. So then I gave it some beans, you know, first, second, third, and I just hammered through the gears, and the thing responded phenomenally, so I was super happy with it. After about a week, bored. Totally bored. I'm like, well, I did it. I have it. I don't want it no more. I even let my friend take it for a week. He drove it around for a week and brought it back. He's like, yeah, they're cool, but it's not for me. I'm like, me neither. So we got rid of it. That's the point. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I want all the cars. I don't want just one. I can't be married to one car. Are you kidding me? One vehicle? No way. None of them mean that much. There's too many of them that I need to save, that I need to help. So anyway, the reason I bring up this green coated existence, and I've wiped most everything off already. I've been wiping it off for a couple weeks now. I'm going in a couple hours to look at another project. Now, it's nowhere near as bad as that Ford was, but it is interesting. Meanwhile, I still have the Dodge going. I got a lot of stuff I need to do on that, which I may or may not get to in this video. It depends on where all of these items align. I know I have a bunch of footage that needs to be edited, which you're probably watching right now. Got a chance to hit the motocross tracks last month down south. That was amazing. We may be looking at changing brands on the motorcycle. Like I rode Kawasaki's, you know, 5-year-old Kawasaki's for years and years. And I may ride a different brand just for this season to try it out. And if I do, you'll see that on track coming up soon. And I don't have a GoPro anymore. They just keep failing. It's like the third GoPro in a row. Well, one of them I lost and the other two just failed. I'm definitely looking for a GoPro or an Insta360 sponsor. I'd like to have somebody sponsor me one of those cameras so I can get back to in-car stuff. But the reality is the views just don't warrant spending any money. It just doesn't. So I'm gonna do what I can with what I have as usual. Let me go check out this truck, and if I come home in 10 seconds, you're gonna see it. So that's about where it's gonna go. Clearly, that's in the way. Clearly, that's in the way, which I knew that. But that's about the center. And then, now that I know this, I might as well just grind that off, and the two on the other side. That's gonna take a while. I'm not gonna make you watch that whole thing. So let me get those removed, and then I can start lining out the hangers. One moment, please.
action now that they're under there and on stands is loosen up these top spring plates and finagle them into the right distance. And then I won't worry about the axle being centered just yet, because that can be adjusted before I weld the perches. So, and then these, I don't know where these are gonna go until I actually put the wheels on it and step back and look at it, and I'll know where to put it. I know about how much sag this is gonna have. 0. But obviously, say I have to modify these, I would cut them off, drill 2 extra holes in it, weld it and bolt it. So I'm not worried about the shape of that. I knew those were going to be big anyway. The back one's a lot closer. So I'm going to loosen it up, do a bunch of finagling, check back here in about 10 seconds for you. This bushing, I just had to pound one in there, and with this like that, it took way longer than it should have. So I'm going to take that leaf off, lay it on the ground, and beat this in there on that side. But that had to go in there. That goes in there. Now you can't go like this because it'll bind. You could go straight up, it's not a big deal, but if you go straight up, sometimes it has a tendency to flex and flip, and I don't dig that. You could fix it, of course, but so I like to go forward. That way, when this spring compresses, it gets longer, and when it gets longer, it will effectively go like that, and it can never really flip because they do that. So I'm gonna lean forward a little. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I like this a lot. Yeah, I can even go up here, which is good. I need to go up some so I can get more meat on the hanger. And then I can test fit some tires and see what's happening. Yeah, but yeah, that's suspension, basically. Looks like the shock mounts will go right to here. I'll build some sort of thing. Sway bar should be fine. I gotta move the axle, I've been beating on it. But okay, give me a second and I'll see if I can get some tires on it and we'll take a look. To make it easier, I clamped those on for right now, and I don't know that they are on there tight enough to hold up the back of the truck, but the back of the truck honestly is not that heavy, and when you spread the load across this whole thing, it shouldn't move the clamps, but if it starts to move the clamps, I will stop. And obviously I won't load the whole truck. But right now, I have got this distance set from there to there, about 6 1/8. And I have this distance set about 6 1/8. So also the center mark, I don't know if you can see that center mark, that's right in the center of the axle. And obviously as it comes up, it will move back a little, but that's irrelevant. You'll never see or notice that happening. I just want it to be in the center when there's weight on it. This one is a little off, but we're not anchoring those, and I can fine tune that. This way was pretty important because you don't want the thing to go down the road. You've seen them. Front wheel straight and the back end looks like it's dragging, dog tracking they call it. I am not allowing that to happen. No matter what I got to do, that is not happening. This thing's going to go down the road straight. It's going to be straight when you walk around it. That's important to me. Obviously, it's important to everyone, but I hear a hot rod going down the road. It's probably the neighbor, actually. A bunch of these folks around here are heavy-duty hot rod guys. Right now, the axle is sitting on jack stands, but the frame is being held up by jack stands. So what I want to do is see if I can put a jack under the differential and lift the whole truck. If I can, I'm going to put wheels on it, move those jack stands and slowly let it down and see if these clamps will hold it. If the clamps will hold it, cool, I can check my ride height. If the clamps don't hold it, I have to do something. I'll probably just drill a hole, put a bolt through it, but let me get the jack and put some wheels on it. Yeah. It's on the ground.
It's a little high right now for me, but there's absolutely no weight on the back of that. And you're gonna have the whole bed and all the wood and the lights and potentially a spare. So the truth of the matter is, I believe it will be fine. Now I had this set up a minute ago, just like this. I had everything clamped on and I put it on the ground and it works. Like you can see the suspension working. I'm barely putting any pressure on it, which means these springs are pretty soft. So when we put some weight on it, I think it'll be the right height. But I stood on the bumper and the clamps let go and the whole thing went chunk and sat on the axle. I was like, crap. So I had to reset it. It took like another, I don't want to talk about it, but I got it now. So I'm going to drill some holes, put some bolts in it, and then remove all the clamps and really jump on it and see how it acts. Worst possible case, you move the holes, you know, to reset the height. But I think I'm going to be good. It's still got a good arch. It should be fine. Okay. Let's hope I don't. Let's hope I don't fall. Whoa. Hey, there's no shocks. Well, you know what I want to do? I want to bounce and backflip, except I'm too old for that now. But, I mean, that's sweet. Yeah, I can tell you right now, by the time you get some weight on this baby, oh, it's great. You know I'm asking for it, right? Whatever. I need to go ride my bike. Hang on, I'll be back. Now that I have everything assembled and drilled, I think because if you look back there, the space between the top spring plate and the brake fitting underneath, I feel like I should do those brake lines on this axle before I lock it into position. And that's what I'm going to do. So these are all loose, so I'm just going to lift this frame and take that axle out and build the brake lines that are on it. Make sure the bleeders are free and I can get to them. Then I'll roll it back in and sock it up for permanent. Making a little double flare. This piece puts a bubble on it, kind of like a bubble, and then you do a regular flare after. I really should have all this covered in oil, but I don't want oil all over my hands right now, so I'm going nice and slow so as not to split it. But you go like that. And this thing usually just pulls out. Sometimes it doesn't want to come. There you go. Made that little bubble there. Now you take this, put that in there. And you just flare it as usual. You can feel when to stop. There we go. And of course I left this spring long so it's pushing on the fittings and it protects it from abrasion. It's wonderful, actually. That's a really good one. It's not bad for this kid, huh?
considering I used to do plumbing. But when's the last time you saw anything flared on real plumbing? Everything's stabbed together or crimped now. It's like plumbing for idiots. I'm glad to have learned a lot of the old techniques. Not that flaring brakes are old, but it kind of is in the plumbing world. So hang on, let's go see if this fits. This fitting's different than that fitting. I just have to get it right the first time and I won't be upset. Now I'm leaving these sort of loose for now because I may need to move them. And if you tighten them up and then you bend them around, you'll actually make them leak. So I leave them a little bit loose so I can move them around, and when they're in position permanent, I snug them down. But that's not bad. Yeah, I got options. And I can configure them a little better once they're permanent, but yeah. I don't even think it's that close. I think it's more out here, which is better yet, because I still got to be able to get a wrench in there with the leaf spring in place. That's going to be tricky, but I'm not scared. Yeah, the camera makes its own decision when you don't have a cameraman on what it's going to focus on. So it may have been focusing on this water bottle instead of this, but whatever. You get the idea, I assume. But this fitting, as it comes over, as it goes around the spring perch, it needs to make a tight 90 right here. So I need to bend it this way. So it needs to go from this direction this way. So really, I'm going to use this because it's got to be really tight to clear the spring pack, which is why I went through all this. I did this on purpose. So let's go see if it fits. Sure. And I can adjust. Now what about this business here? This goes something like this, and this goes like that. Okay, I'd say that's going to work. Yeah, can you imagine how hard that would be under there, fiddling around the springs? That's why I'm like, let's just do it now. When I put it in, it'll be gravy. I opted to clean the axle exactly where these perches are going to land a little better because I didn't like it. And I also opted to snug up these brake lines at least on the drum side so that I can get these lines put in and not have to fumble and fight, which I probably will anyway because I can see right now I almost need to be laying down. Let me. Okay, snug enough to get the brakes started with fluid, and if I have to reach in and snug it up again, it's no problem. I like it. That's pretty close. That's the old Gene measurement. Good old plumber Gene and his paper towel measurement. So it is pretty tight in there, but you can still get an open end wrench on the brake line. It ain't easy, but you can do it. But what you can't reach is the brake bleeder. I mean, you kind of can if you had a really long S-shaped open end wrench. So if I had an extra one, I would cut it and put a piece. I don't. So what I'm doing is welding a little tiny socket that fits, and I predetermine the angle so you can stick it in and open and close the bleeder. So let's see if it works. I don't want to weld it to my bench. Think that's hot? Yeah, I bet it's really hot. I'm gonna let it cool off naturally. So that it's not brittle, but let's see if it worked. Right on. Can I get it off? Yeah, it's really hot and I need to put a different bend on it, but yeah, it's gonna work. Much better.
This one only has 3 bolts, but the top, I welded it to the frame on both sides. So it basically has 4 bolts on the front, but the reality is the load of that thing, it's literally minute. That's why they're just bolted on to begin with. Plus to allow for some deflection, but it's never gonna go anywhere. Those are totally fine. Yeah. So besides, it's way better than what was on there, and that was being driven around for 70 years. I got everything mounted and trimmed off the way that I wanted it. So that's cool, I'm glad. Right now I'm on my way to, as soon as I'm done filming this little spot, I'm on my way to go get the drive shaft. Well, I'm dropping it off and they're gonna cut it, make it fit a Chrysler 5R4FE. If that's right, I think that's right. Electronic 5-speed or 4-speed with overdrive, and then a Dana 35 axle. So I'm gonna go drop that off and hope it's not $5 million. And I hope they can use it rather than having to build a whole new one, because that's, you know, but anyway. All right, I'll be right back 1 second.
Seems to be a recurring theme when I say I don't remember where I left off. Normally I would film and make little notes and keep better track of it, but lately I've just been so busy that I haven't been bothering too much with filming. I know I filmed this, and the suspension is all in. I have to do like a few other minor things, shock mounts, sway bar mounts, some brake line, you know, basic stuff.
A lot of times during the winter we get a lot of water on the front of this garage, so I decided to hand dig this ditch, put in some perforated pipe, and now I'm going to carry water completely away from the garage, and it'll slow down the decay of this concrete, which is in rough condition. And I'm also having some new gravel brought in because this is largely silt. And after I've reshaped the driveway so many times by hand, I need to get a good coat of new gravel on it and clean up some of the debris. So one moment and I'll be done with this. Well, look at that. It's gravel. There's drainage now. I'm not all the way done with it, of course. And I still have to backfill this, but I wanted to bed the pipe in with gravel. That'll keep the water heading south. But under here is like a 1 foot deep ditch that, although the driveway crests that way, under the ground it crests this way. So the water in theory will run to the ditch and gone, which is what this place needed. When we first bought this place, this whole pad was covered with grass. You couldn't even see it. It was like 2 inches of dirt and grass. So I've done a lot, and I wanted to make sure that this stays dry because so much water got underneath the foundation of this garage that it started to move a little, and by doing this I will extend the life of this garage another 10 years. There you go. We had a real heavy rain last night. You can already see where it's starting to dry under, that's where the pipe is. So yeah, this worked out real good. It was a lot of work. Honestly, it was pretty cheap because I know a guy, and it really was cheap. But then again, so am I. Looks good.
Man, let me tell you, after a whole week outside in the driveway on my hands and knees with a shovel, it's nice to get back to something rusty. It's good to switch it up every once in a while, you know, keeps motivation, keeps things going. I'm stoked. I'm gonna pick away at this little item at a time. I'm just gonna look at the list, pick one, do it, see how I feel, and just keep moving in that direction. So, but there's still a lot left. I got the wiring harness actually. Plug and play from Hotwire Auto. Most everything I get is from them. Ford Performance, Hotwire. There's a couple places actually. Lethal Nate on Flakebook. Believe it or not, he's doing quite well, and he's a little less cost. Now I don't know. I don't believe he has the same level of understanding that Hotwire does or Ford Performance, but he definitely
sells harnesses. I haven't tried one. Honestly, I'm very comfortable with the guys I've been using for almost 10 years. The only thing I need to make this run is the ECU. The ECU kind of I sent them one and they said, that's not right. And then I sent them another one and they said, that's not right. And I'm like, eh. So we have them what they say is correct now. When they program it and send it back, should be any day. I should be able to plug all this in, hook fuel to it, and twist the wires together, and this will come to life. It has a drive shaft. I don't know if I mentioned that. Got it from Henderson Driveline. They made it. They actually took the Dodge Durango. They actually took the Dodge Durango drive shaft and shortened it and put on a Jeep Wrangler yoke on the back of the drive shaft so it fits this Wrangler rear end. I have so much to edit right now. It's gonna be like a lot is gonna happen in a very short time because I'm gonna cut it up. I don't have the timeline footage. I didn't make like a list like I normally do. So it's gonna be just like, oh my God, that's done, that's done, that's done. That's how it's gonna go. This is one of the small items I got to do. Shifter cable, park reverse neutral drive. I just have to adapt it to the column. Not a huge deal, but I'm just going to go at this little things at a time. See what I can get done today. There's going to be a lot of stuff underneath this dash. I am not going to be a fan of doing it like this. I think I might, I was gonna say take this out, but I can't. It's welded to the floor. Okay, well, might as well find myself a comfortable position because I'm gonna be under here for quite some time. I haven't even gotten to the wiring yet. Oh, look at that, huh? We got a brake pedal and a throttle pedal. Cool, man. I mean it. Cool. All right, everybody. That's where we're going to have to leave it for this week. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And watch for the next video on this channel because this Dodge should be turnkey running and driving. It may not be fully assembled, but we're gonna get it out on the road. That's gonna be exciting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.